Hi, my name is Angela. In this video, I'm going to be talking about letters of intent. This is part one of a two-part video series where I'm going to talk about letters of intent specifically for PGY1 applications and what you can do to really formulate these well, develop them well, and have a good timeline to hopefully get a good letter written. I think a lot of people in pharmacy are not very good at writing, so hopefully this video is helpful to provide my experience and also some tips I would give someone who's writing one of these for residency applications. So I'm currently a PGY1 resident. I'm in the ambulatory care track, and I'm doing these, bi-weekly videos or weekly videos to try and help anyone who wants a little bit of information of someone who's gone through or is going through the process. So letters of intent, they are something that's required for all PGY1 applications, at least that I've seen, to kind of describe who you are, what your interests are, what your experience is, and your skills, and what you're looking for in a residency application or in a residency program. And they're a little bit different than personal statements, which come before pharmacy applications and are before you've had any kind of clinical experience, any kind of leadership roles, usually pertaining to pharmacy. So they're much more in depth, they're much more involved, but they are limited to one page, similar to how personal statements are. So when should you start this? You should start thinking about what you want in a career early on anyway, but early if you can. You should try to think about this early, especially if you do not have experience with writing or feel like you're going to struggle. Just try to start thinking about how things are worded. Ask people for examples of their letters for residency. You'll be surprised people are very willing to help because you can start to understand how you'll need to formulate things. People who have gotten residencies, you can kind of think that their letter at least was good enough to get them an interview, get them a residency, so that can help you see what the standard is. But I would not push yourself to start this too early because I tried to start it early and I found that I really didn't know what I wanted to write, or things that I wrote I felt completely different the month leading up to applications. So after you have rotations, after you talk to people, you interview programs more, I feel like you can have an even better sense to write your letter. But you want to just make sure you watch out for stressful times before applications and not leave it to the last minute. But a link I'm going to put below is what I used. It's from ASHP, talking about all the components that you might want to include in your letter to make it the best that it can be. So that just is a guide that I used. I made sure I had specific sections, which I'll talk about how I organized it. But basically you want to just talk about a wide variety of things related to you, but try to make it flow. People as humans, we all love stories. We love when someone tells a story about themselves, so you want it to flow nice and well. So the way that I kind of did it is I started out with my interest in pursuing their program, how I first heard about them, what I learned after I first heard about them, either talking with someone individually or learning more from other people or attending one of their residency showcases. What kind of continued my interest, and that I was excited, showed my excitement to apply. Some people think that you should name drop and talk about specifically who you talked with. Others don't. I did. It's probably, each person's preference. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. But then you talk about specifically, I think, your experiences and what you want out of our residency. So I was really interested in ambulatory care, so I first talked about why I had a passion for that, what experience I had with that, and then what the residency program had that aligned with all that I just talked about. So that was my second paragraph. My third paragraph was geared towards academia because I was interested in that at the time. And then I kind of talked about experiences, but really tried to key in of what they had, and most of my programs had teaching certificates, so I usually would mention that. And then I also was interested in leadership and growing that, so I kind of lumped that in with my second paragraph. And the third paragraph I talked about all the different types of, skills I felt like I had, challenges that I've overcome, leadership roles. It kind of was like a mixture of things that I felt like pertained to residency or would kind of show that I had a wide variety of skill sets to bring forth into residency. And then I try to, again, match certain qualities with the program that fit each of the things that I either wanted or would be able to do well. Then my last paragraph was really just a summary of, okay, these are the reasons why I really want your program. These are the reasons why I really think I would be good. Thank you for your time and consideration. At the end. One of the things that I would have done differently going back is I would have tried to maybe shorten it a little bit. I did fit it into one page, and in the next video I'll go over kind of like font and other formatting things. But you know, it's good to be concise, and it's good to tell that story and make sure it flows well. And so I just would have maybe shortened a little bit of things and not talk too much about areas that weren't exactly focused to what I wanted to do, just to fill in more words is what I'm trying to say. Just make sure that you are being concise and they can follow your letter easily. They read a ton of these, so it's good if they can follow it nice and easy. So yeah, I would just say for this first video, talking about letters is, you know, try to think about it early if you can. Try to read other examples to get the lingo, and then try to figure out how you're going to structure it using the guide and maybe some of those other examples, and see how you want to organize it in that certain way. But I'll finish up what I want to say in this next video, but hopefully this was helpful. If you liked it, go ahead and like it and share it with someone else who is in the process of writing their letter and maybe wants to get a good head start. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, but I'll see you guys next week.